Hi, family, friends, and loved ones. I'm back here at Caleb and Jess's. I left on 1/7 of 2017 at 7 o'clock in the morning, and got back here last night on the 15th. Being gone 8 days, I went and spent some time with my cousin Diane for about 5 days, and then was headed toward Florida. Went up to Cherahacala Trail. It was a road like a snake, and I took this road up, in through these mountains, and ended up at saw these different overlook spots, and I went to this overlook, and excuse the way I look, because I'm a mess. I'm hurt. I broke my arm. Okay, let me tell you what happened here. See, they got a cast on it, and this thing weighs about 25 pounds, it feels like. And look at my fingers. They're all swollen. They didn't even clean the blood off at the hospital. I ain't got nobody to take care of me. I needed this like I needed a hole in the head. Let me tell you. I'd rather have you actually be home with my Heavenly Father than to suffer this, because I've always been an independent person, and I cannot stand this. I can barely take care of myself. I had such a hard time bathing yesterday after not having a shower for 3 days. I hadn't had a shower since I left my cousin's on Thursday. This happened on Friday the 13th, January 13th. Yeah, of all days. Yeah, Friday the 13th. Well, what happened is I drove up in this trail area, Cherahacala Trail. It goes up to North Carolina, or in North Carolina there. I had just gotten out of, I tell you, I was on, 75 South, and I ended up on 40 East or something it was. I think I was a little bit lost, but I was taking my time to get to Florida because I was trying to do some evangelism work on my way. I had done some witnessing in all different parts of Kentucky when I left here, and then in Tennessee, and then throughout there. And I spent 5 days with my cousin and was trying to get some witnessing over there. Took care of in McRae County a little bit, and in Somerset. I had some lady go off on me in Somerset at the Baxter's Coffee place. She said I was a heretic because I said that, don't you know the letter J didn't exist till 500 years ago, so how could his name have been Jesus Christ? But anyways, so I go up I'm driving up this trail, and I go to this overlook, and it was just absolutely beautiful, mountainous, lots of trees, and a really nice girl drove up there with her dog, and she sat and talked with me for a while, and I shared with her the things I had learned in my studies and my research. And she was a believer, and she said thank you very much. Her name was Erin, and she was a sweet girl. She took a picture of me. But I decided I was going to stay there for the night. She said that it was safe. It was getting dark, and I didn't know how long it was till I got off that little winding road, snaky road highway, before I ended up on a more, regular kind of highway, and it was dark, and so she left and Kind of wish now I would have just went ahead and followed her. She said she was going to Knoxville, Tennessee, the 75 exit. And instead, I decided to stay there and camp out. I wanted to kind of sing to the Most High. So she takes off and I'm singing. I'm walking up and down, the like sidewalk in front of the overlook. And then I decided I need to eat something because I hadn't really ate anything all day. Excuse me. So I go back to my van and I was snacking a little bit and I walked around. I was trying to situate it to sleep in. Put everything from the back to the front seat so I could sleep on my little mattress thing I had in the back. And, I had my flashlight at first and I had sat it down when I was getting something to eat. And something told me to keep using my flashlight, and I didn't listen to that inner voice, that small inner voice, and I had I heard wolves howling too, and that should have kept me wanting to use it. But I had stuck a little steak knife in my pocket. Well, it was about this long, in case one of them wolves, came up on me, or just as protection. And plus I was gonna try to put some peanut butter on bread. And when I walked around the van, those concrete block things that they have in parking lots to make your car stop at? Well, I like a dummy tripped over one of them in the dark when I walked around my van. When I fell forward, I landed all of my weight on this arm. And you see, I scraped all this up and all here. I tried to catch myself, I guess, on this arm. I bruised up my knees and my legs pretty bad too. I knew right away. I was like, oh no, I broke it. Because when I fell, I laid there and I tried to get up and I could tell, something was really wrong. And I broke my arm when I was 5 years old, and I've also fractured my wrists, fractured my ankles, so I pretty much know what a break feels like. And I was like, oh no. And here I am out in, this mountainous area in the dark by myself. I get on my phone after I finally get up, and I try to call my cousin, my son, anybody to tell them, and my phone wouldn't work. It said action failed, error, action failed. I was like, what? So I didn't try 911 though, because I hate to say it, I'm hoping that the police enforcement is savable and that there's good cops still in the law enforcement. But with, what I've learned about religion and how they use the 105c3 code, the money that gets paid from the churches to support the law enforcement, and that they're connected with the government, and that all of this is like interconnected, I have a hard time trusting any governmental agencies anymore, whether it be it law enforcement, the government, even the hospitals, anybody. And my wisdom and discernment tells me that I have the right to feel this way, rightfully so. So anyway, I get up and my phone ain't working, and I didn't call 911 because I'm like, you know what? I'll survive this. I'll get through the night. I will just have to rough it out. And so I did. I got in my van and I cried out to Hawa. I laid there in pain all night crying. I couldn't even hardly, I mean, when I finally, let me just tell you, I was in so much pain. In the morning, when I got out of there, it was foggy. It took me forever to get to this place called Robbinsville. Robbinsville, North Carolina, I guess it would be called. And this guy let me follow him in his truck to the EMS. He said there was no hospital, I guess, in the town, he said. And so I get to the ambulance people, and they're like, they get me in their ambulance to see I'm hurt, you know. And I'm like, wait a minute, how far is the hospital? They said 45 minutes away. And I said, well, how will I get back to my vehicle? They said, we don't know. And I said, well, I don't know anybody around here. I know. They go, well, you'll have to take a taxi or something. I said, I don't have the money for a taxi. How much would that cost maybe if it's 45 minutes away? I said, no. You know what? You're going to have to give me directions. I'm going to have to take myself, you know. And when I had got in there, they were trying to put an IV in me. They were trying to give me, like, painkiller. I was like, no, look, I'm a naturalist. I think I broke my arm. I don't need any of this. They wanted to give me something for sickness, like if I got sick from the drive. I was like, no, you know. So one of the guys got really kind of mad at me, you know. I got out of the truck. And I was like, look, I appreciate your help, trying to help, but no thanks. You know, I'm not leaving my vehicle stranded out here in the middle of this nowhere. No way to get back here. You're telling me you can't promise me any way to get back here to get my vehicle. You know, thanks, but no thanks. I've came this far on my own. I'll make it to the hospital by myself. You know, because I had that winding road that went all the way down to their town was like following a snake. I told them, I said, what, did somebody follow a snake to build this highway, this country highway all the way up in these mountains? I said, was somebody following a snake or a devil or something? Now let me tell you something. Before I went up in there in that trail, I'd gotten so far past this river scenic area. It was real pretty. I stopped and got out and sang for a little while. And something told me, okay, you've seen enough. Don't go any further. You know. And I didn't listen. I thought, well, you know, I want to see more, and I'm not going to be afraid and live in fear. You know, forget you, devil. I thought the devil was trying to make me be scared or something. But it would, you know, see, this is the thing. Sometimes we have a hard time differentiating and deciphering between who's talking to us, whether it's the enemy or the Most High. You know, and sometimes we have a hard time following our instincts, you know. Now I realize that that little voice that said, don't go up in here any, you know, further. You're by yourself. And also then when the whole flashlight thing, get your, you know, see, ignoring those little voice, you know, ignoring that. Now look at me, you know. And you know, I argued with the Most High about it. How could you let this happen to me? I was supposed to go to Florida. I needed the sabbatical. I needed to, you know, and so he's like, I know. And he's like, Sandra, it could have been a lot worse, because when you fell, you had that knife in your pocket, and you could have got stabbed in your gut with it. And I did protect you for that. And he's like, and I told you not to go up in there. Really, you know, it was like something was telling me not to go up through in through there by myself any further, anymore. And curiosity killed the cat, as they say, but I didn't end up dead. But there were some people that pulled up in that parking overlook area in the night when I was in there, and it was Friday the 13th, there was like some loud cars and loud trucks that came up and pulled apart and was just like, and I heard this one lady, oh shit, something, and I'm laying in there praying because I was fragile. If anybody had tried to mess with me, here I am in the middle of nowhere, up here in the mountains. No one could have heard me, no one around. If someone had tried to come up to my van and mess with me, I was so fragile and so injured and so helpless, I wouldn't have probably been able to defend myself. Even though I had weapons in my van to defend myself, would I have been able to, with one hand? And at that time, I wasn't casted, so my arm was broken. I was in excruciating pain. No ice, I couldn't even hardly pull my britches down to go to the bathroom, and it was so hard to make that drive from that mountain into that town and then to that hospital. From that town, getting to that town took me an hour and a half. Then I'm driving through the fog, and then getting to the hospital. So this incident happened probably around 7:30 at night on the 13th, and I didn't make it to the hospital, I think, till around 10:30 in the morning. So I have been suffering with it a good, 15, 16 hours. And so all through the night, I'm crying, I'm screaming, I'm saying, oh, I'm like, yeah, when you say his name, you're, in pain. And I felt so alone, and, I was like, I needed this like a hole in the head. I'd rather have a hole in the head. I'd rather be dead, And I was really mad this happened to me. And I struggled, so I get help Saturday finally at the hospital. When I got into Robbinsville and got out of the truck, the EMS truck, I'm getting on the road to go, and I'm kind of lost. So I see this man in a truck as I'm driving. I got my flasher hazard lights on my car, and I waved, with my good hand out the window. I stopped and I was like, can you help me? And I said, sir, I got to get to the hospital. I broke my arm, I think. And I said, are you headed toward Bryson, perhaps? And he's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am, And I was like, do you think I could follow you? I need to get to the hospital. And this sweet man, his name was Lonnie, big, tall, older man. He ended up bringing me in the hospital with his granddaughter, too. He gave me a kiss on the cheek, the sweet old man, when, he said bye. He gave me his number to call him and let him know I was okay. He was a veteran, too. You could see veteran tags on his truck, And I thanked him. He said he was house hunting or something, that he was not busy that day anyway. Too bad. So, I followed him all the way to, it was Swain Hospital. And I got, at first I was scared. The doctor told me that it was pretty bad. It was my radial bone, and that they might have to operate. He said it looked, but then after he saw his co-worker, he said no. But he said that when I go to the doctors, they'll, again, for follow-up, they'll check it out and look at it. But it's just awful. I'm back at my son's. I can't even pick up my grandson. I don't want to pull his arm out of socket or something. I can, hold him slightly, but, He's crying in there. I gotta go. But yeah, just from the hospital, I didn't get here till I left the hospital Saturday afternoon, and I didn't make it here till Sunday night because I had to stop. It was raining, and I was in pain, and it was hard to drive. This thing was so big under with it got like the steering wheel got stuck under it a couple times, so I figured out how to place it right and keep it out of the way. And it's you gotta keep your faith, hope, and love even through it all. And I asked him, why did this happen? Why? So I was looking on my YouTube channels this morning, and I seen that there's a tsunami that's supposed to hit Florida and parts of California, and that they say that Florida's just going to totally sink in. And I was like, this is some prediction or whatever that they've made, that Florida, that all of that's going to sink. And I was like, so did this happen to prevent me from going? Because that's going to happen there? I don't know. But I'm just letting you know what happened, people. And I did get to do some witnessing out there the 8 days that I was gone. All through, Kentucky, Tennessee, different parts of Tennessee, and part of North Carolina. I did see some South Carolina plates and Virginia plates, and plus I got it all over my van, written Clearing My Heavenly Father's Name by Sandra Musgrove on YouTube, for people to see when they're driving. So I did see that I did get more views in the last 8 days, so hopefully my message is getting out there to people to realize the truth of the lies that's in our Bibles and in religion. And that's what my purpose is here, to tell the Heavenly Father's true name, which I believe in. The closest thing I have found is Hawa. And I do want to go talk to the Catholic Church, the diocese, and have it out with them. And it's been a rough week, but I've survived, and I made it. I'm still thriving, still living, and still here, ready to go home to my heavenly home. But I guess he's not ready to have me yet. And boy, I'll tell you what, this hurts bad. It's painful. But I learned a lesson. When you hear that little inner voice, listen to it. It's from him to warn you. And it's funny, your radar, your radial bone, your so it broke. This, he's like him telling me, see, Sandy, you don't always listen to me. These still small voice warnings that I tell you, So then I learned the hard way, because I'm stubborn sometimes. Anyways, Varicose to everybody. Sorry I look so terrible. Yeah, and be 47 going on 48. My 48th birthday is January 26th. And to break a bone at my age, it's really going to take a miracle from the Most High, the great I am, for this to heal right. And you miss you, my grandson. Come here. There's Caleb with my grandson. Let him see the baby for a sec, Caleb. Say hi, Shum Shum.
Say hi, everybody.
Okay. So, Bear Coat, everybody. That's the latest. Have a good one.